light. Shadows creep and crawl with every scream. Hear the echoes call. Synths and guitars in a haunting blend. An 80s vibe where the terror transcends. Shocktoberfest, scream until dawn. In your nightmares, the terror's reborn. Lights flash, monsters take flight. Embrace the darkness, it's a metal night.
How's it going, everybody? Wildman Wes here, and welcome back for day 21 of Shocktoberfest's 80s Rewind. We're going to be closing out 1986 with a dark comedy horror, Chopping Mall. The premise of this movie is the rise of shoplifting in shopping malls has gone to an all-time high, and one company is going to a shopping mall to demonstrate their new technology of security robots that will pretty much eliminate all shoplifting involved in said stores. This is an odd situation because of the fact, while seeing the demonstration, they notice that the robots aren't really performing their jobs as well as they should. However, the company says that they're going to make sure to modify any issues that they need to be tweaked. Well, while they're bringing these robots into the shopping mall, we have 8 teenagers working around the stores, and they decide they're going to throw a party. As these teens are throwing their party and the doors start to lock, you guessed it, folks, there's a malfunction with these machines, and they are running amok around the mall, taking people out one by one. It is a cat and mouse game of trying to escape these machines as well as trying to find a way to destroy them. 6 of the 8 end up losing their lives, while the 2 that are wholesome and virginal, they survive. I'm just going to do a very much abridged version of the story of this because I remember watching this way back in the day and thinking it was really, 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 really good. But then as a film critic, I have to look at some of the things that make me really go, man, they ripped off so much with this film. It's time to talk about what I like and what I don't like. I'm going to start off with what I like. I do appreciate that the people that they got for the cast of this film are some of the who's who of the horror industry. Some of the people involved is Barbara Crampton, who is part of the Reanimator series. We have Russell Todd, who was in Friday the 13th Part 2. We have Dick Miller from Gremlins, from the original Roger Corman Little Shop of Horrors, and amongst many, 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 many more. And we also have some small appearances from Angus Scrimm, Tall Man from the Phantasm series. We even have a quick cameo from Rodney Eastman, Joey from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4 at the beginning of the film. Another thing that I like about this film is that sense of being trapped, that closed confinement where there is no escape and you have to rely upon your wits and sense of survival. And the innovative ways they use to destroy the security robots I found very funny, and at the same time a little bit nerve-wracking, because there are times with robots in a lot of these dark comedies or science fiction films or horror films, there's always that one weakness. And with these security robots, they didn't really necessarily have a weakness. A lot of it is just try to blow them up as best as you can, and they do what they can, and the 2 survivors, they end up having the best innovative ways. And I want to get more into it, but at the same time, this is one of those movies that I've talked around with some people, and they kind of said, what's Chopping Mall? And I said, well, it's on Tubi right now, so watch it. You might like it, you might not like it. A lot of the imagery in this film, especially when it comes to that sense of confinement and trying to escape any danger, reminds me very much of the original Dawn of the Dead, especially with the whole shopping mall situation. Which brings me into my next point about the shopping mall situation is I do appreciate the intro of this movie being very much a satire and a social commentary about the mall industry back in the 80s, where they show people in the food court, they show people skateboarding around, and though I didn't really see a lot of that when I was a little kid in the 80s, it's still one of those things that I used to see in a lot of movies from the 80s depicting that that's exactly what everybody did, and even whether it's true or not, it's still pretty funny. Now it's time to talk about the things that I do not like about this film. We have talked about this before. I'm going to beat the proverbial horse in this situation and get on my soapbox. There is a difference between taking nods and homages from other films and completely just taking things without any hesitation to give a quasi-clone, if not rip-off. This movie is not a complete rip-off clone, but man did they take some liberties. Starting with the concept of these security robots, it is very much ripping off Robocop with the Ed 209, even up to the voice. And yeah, it's kind of funny in a way, but at the same time, it just feels like the scene in Robocop where the demonstration of the Ed 209 goes wrong is just expanded throughout the whole entire film. And after a while, it's just kind of, we could have got Robocop in here and he could have taken him out easy. Not just that, but even though it has a Ed 209 look for the security robots, it also has a mixture of the HK tanks from Terminator. And we're going to get into those type of little nods, and one of the robots catching fire and an arm falling off and them dragging it around, it was very reminiscent of Terminator 1, especially when the end scene of Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor running away from the T-800. I sat there laughing going, did they not realize that they were doing this, or did they know they were doing this and didn't care? Regardless, oof. Paul Van Hoven and James Cameron, they probably were shaking their heads with this one. And so was I. Okay, it is time to grade this film. I'm very perplexed on this one because I could still watch the movie, and a lot of it is with rewatchability. I could make jokes more on the riff track style or MST3K with just running jokes or inside jokes, especially when it comes to the blatant rip-off moments of Robocop and Terminator. And what really saves this is just the social commentary of the mall industry in the 80s, as well as the cast members, because their performances were actually very, very decent, especially with this being a dark comedy. So my final grade for Chopping Mall is going to be a solid D. I'm doing my best to not fail any of these films, this series, for this year. It is getting very difficult, believe me, because we still have quite a few movies to review, and they're up there. Let's put it that way. Apart from that, we hope you enjoyed this quick review on Chopping Mall. If you've seen this movie before and you agree with me, leave a thumbs up, and if you don't, that's totally alright too. If there's some things that you liked that I didn't like, put it in the comment section below. I'm really interested to see what you have to say, because after so many years of doing film reviews and also being a former film student in college, I tend to be a little anal retentive, and I can sometimes nitpick things that probably don't necessarily need to be nitpicked. And sometimes it's nice for my viewers and subscribers to say, hey, Wes, tone it down a bit. Take 15 to 20% off there. It's okay. Other than that, make sure you share on social media. But most importantly, let's get that algorithm and subscriber number up. Let's push that little red button. I'm wanting to get 500 by 2025. And also make sure you ring that bell for instant notifications. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we will see you tomorrow for day 22 of Shocktoberfest 80s Rewind. Take care, and as always, stay scared, kiddies.